Hey, folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. This video for Wednesday, February 8th, 2012 is sponsored by RealTick. All right, guys, let's get right into the mix today. Markets are again flattish. We've had a little bit of volatility today. We saw a little bit of a push up early, then a fall, but again, the markets have just gone right back into that low float, light volume, kind of sideways upward move, which we've seen basically day in, day out for quite some time. And you can see that right here. See this little level right here, how the markets have just gone sideways to higher after that little bit of a sell-off. And again, it's all a resistance point based on the inverse dollar trade. And what I mean by that is essentially what we had was the dollar spiking up and the markets had come down here. And then as the dollar is now going flat, the light volume is just taking the market neutral to higher. And right now the spider's up 1 penny, Dow down about 20 points, NASDAQ up 2.5 points, S&P down about 40 cents on the day. So again, it's a very, very quiet day, volume 90.4 million. Now the key is what I want to cover today, folks, is not only looking at the charts here on the SPY, which mirrors the S&P 500, but I also want to go over some top signals on certain stocks. Like basically what I did to my members here was go over the market, and I said, listen, find stocks for me that look like they're at a top, and I mean literally at a top. They've hit a level where you think I will like them in terms of a short. All right, so again, my traders here in the office, knowing the methodology, understanding that, I asked them to find some, and they came up with a couple symbols, which we will go over shortly. All right, so again, just before we get to that, though, let's just quickly, again, look at the markets. The light volume, again, in this market seems to be in control. The Federal Reserve, we talked about the propping yesterday that's been going on. Notice this level down here. See this yellow, this white line? And that, again, pointed out the low of the day. Well, if we zoom out, I want to show you exactly where that comes from. And if you zoom all the way back to the pivot low on the 30th of January and connect it through all the lows, and again, sure enough, you can see connected to yesterday's lows, and then today, again, put in the low. So if you're looking for a breakdown on the market, and as a technical signal, this line right here is the one you watch. When this line gets taken out to the downside and you close below it, meaning on one of the 10-minute candles, it actually has to close below. If you can do that, the market will start to sell off, in my opinion. You'll see a little increase in volume and downside. But as long as the market stays above this white trend line and does not close below, the markets could float up indefinitely. It's called the light volume effect, and that essentially is what we're seeing in the markets for all of January. Remember, January into February has been the best performance in the markets in 25 years. And again, there's no volume behind it. In fact, I think I said the other day that the volume is reminiscent of 1999 volume, which in and of itself is scary because in 99, we were leading up to the top in the tech bubble. Remember the dot-com bubble before the markets cratered? And it bothers me a little bit that there's no participation and no buying by the institutions here. That has to be something that we're watching very closely and we're aware of. Okay? So again, just kind of, even though we know the market can float up indefinitely on light volume, be aware that at some point there will be a tipping point and the markets could come down. When they come down, they will come down fast. It's just a matter of timing it. Okay? All right, so let's go quickly to the daily chart. Let's take a look at the levels on the daily chart. And again, you're basically up into this resistance point right here, which is the 134.65.75 level. We pierced it today. We're trading right on it as of now. Spiders, again, up 3 to 4 cents on the day. If we continue up, I have another pivot point right up here at around 135.70.75 area. And if we get through that, you have another one at 136, and then ultimately the 52-week high at 137.20. All right, so those are your resistance points on the daily chart of the SPY. Any sort of fall, what I would look for to really on the daily chart confirm that we're going to have a bigger down move would be a close back below this greenish pinkish area right here. If you can get back below that, especially if you confirm, which is proprietary mathematical calculations here, and people that are members obviously understand what I'm saying there. If you get below there and confirm, then I do think you have a retrace. The market should not, in my opinion, have gotten through so easily this area, only because of the light volume did it get through. So if we were to confirm back below, I think it would trigger a continued sell-off in the markets, most likely down to this blue line somewhere down in this vicinity. All right, but right now we have to respect the markets as they continue to float neutral to higher. And again, just stay back, let them do this thing. There's plenty of trades out there based on small caps and mid caps right now. In fact, before we get into some of the key stocks which are topping, which I wanted to give you guys in this video, let's quickly talk about what's moving in this market. All right, today Chinese stocks are hot. We saw the Shanghai Index up over 2.5% last night, or about 2.5% overnight, and that's sending the Chinese solars dramatically higher. Here's the daily chart of ReneSola. It's up $1 on the day. Take a look at your intraday chart on the 10-minute TSL. This is a great move. I mean, look at this move up on TSL. And you can look at any of the Chinese solars. They're all running today. JASO, JA Solar, is up 18 cents on the day at the highs of the day. STP is up basically 10% on the day, and you can see that one's just off the highs, but again, turning up very nicely. LDK just up a penny on the day, but LDK, if you go to your daily chart, has had a bigger run. You can see this chart much more vertical than some of the others like TSL. So again, Chinese solars are hot today. We're also seeing some good movement out of SCEI, which is one of my favorites. It went all the way up and tagged the 200. Now it's consolidating below. Eventually, I do think this gets through the 200 moving average. And again, you look at almost any Chinese stocks out there, they do seem to have an underlying bid today. So again, those are things that I'm watching. I'm looking for small mid caps right now that haven't run. One of the key stocks to go over today is CZR, Caesars Entertainment. Now this IPO today, guys. And I'll tell you, this is a shady one. Very, very shady actions going on here. And the reason why, the stock literally is up right now about 50 to 60%, was up as much as 80% off the IPO. It came out at $9, and it essentially topped at 18. So it was essentially up 100% off the initial IPO price. And again, the reason this happened was because they only released 1.8 million shares to the public. They basically made it into a light float, micro float type play, and everyone trying to get into it just caused this thing to go parabolic. And this is a trick they did, in other words, to try to create this type of pop and short squeeze. It's essentially like a short squeeze in the market because they only allowed a small amount of the float to escape and go into the public. So again, I think you'll hear some Securities and Exchange Commission talk about this. Not that they did anything illegal here, but in terms of regulation, it's probably not going to fly in the future, my guess, in terms of releasing what they did here. They basically did it on purpose, in my opinion, to create this type of move up in the stock of CZR, Caesars Entertainment, so it would go up dramatically and could actually continue to go up indefinitely until some more shares are released by those that bought them and are holding them and so forth. All right, so very interesting chart there, though. This is the intraday. And again, look at how it opened down here. And what a dramatic rise. I mean, this thing literally ran from $9 to $18 before it's pulled back a little bit, back to around 15 today. All right, let's go over some of those topping stocks here, folks, that I have. One of my traders here brought to my attention CF. This is a very, very good one. CF does look like short-term top is in. And again, I agree with this one. Looking at this chart, look at that beautiful double top, and it's already reversed today. This is a very, very toppy chart. And I have to say, I am a fan of a short on this one. CF Industries. And again, any one of you guys, of my traders that got off the short this morning on a swing trade basis at 192 or just over 192, you're in the driver's seat as it's already fallen $4. For those of you that are watching this stock, if you want, wait for it to bounce back up, see if it'll go back up a little bit, and then maybe back above 190 and short it at that point. Your stop out would be any sort of confirmation above this pivot top at 193. Any confirmation above 193, I think that's where you would exit on a closing basis. But again, it has to close above and then confirm above 193. All right. Now, the other stock that was brought to my attention, let's take a look at HOG, not HOGS. They'll punch it up, HOG. Good topping tail today. Very nice possible topping tail. And look at this double top. This is another fantastic one. All right, amazing chart here for a possible short. And again, this is Harley-Davidson, extremely extended. I mean, look at this extended move. Very extended off the 200 moving average, off the 20 moving average, and the 50 moving average. Perfect little double top triggered today, and you have a possible topping tail. I love it. I have only good things to say about a possible short on this one. I have no problem with anyone taking a small position on this one. Your stop out again on this one would be a close over 47 and then confirmation above that. But right now, again, in the driver's seat. And my guess is it pulls back till it hits the 20 moving average on the daily chart. So good job there, folks. Before I leave you, let me just take a look at JPM. JPM is inching up a little bit after a weekday yesterday, up 36 cents. And again, let's take a look at Apple Computer, another leader. Apple's having a continued move up. I will short Apple when it gets over 500. On a Pierce of 500, I will short a small position in Apple. Till then, I have no reason to do it. This is one of the strongest stocks out there. It's been the strongest since earnings. And again, just let it do its thing. Yes, it's extended. There's no doubt about it. $360 now to $474. But again, it's the strongest player out there. I would love to see this right around March 1st, somewhere in that area, get above 500, and then I will pull the trigger on a short myself, or at least buy some puts. We'll do it in some way. If you're a member here at InTheMoneyStocks.com, obviously you will get that information live as I do the trade, as I will put out an alert based on a swing trade, hot charts, and alerts. All right, guys, enough said here. I'm going to get back to trading, but again, there's a 7-day free trial here at InTheMoneyStocks.com to the Research Center and the Intraday Stock Chat. Research Center is geared towards swing traders. Intraday Stock Chat, obviously geared towards day traders. Come join us at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Start being on the right side of the market, making money. I do small caps, mid caps, and large caps. We're going to make some more money here towards the end of this month. It should just come piling in as we nail some of these calls that we're just beginning to look at right now and possibly get into over the next few days. Have a great evening, great afternoon, and again, join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take care.